What's up guys, it's that Pan again. I'm here again with another video, and today we're going to be doing a tier list, okay? And these tier list videos are very long always, so I hope you guys can work with me. Normally I do tier lists and I, for example, do Jaden and I might rank him a little bit more based off of how easily obtainable he is. This time I'm going to be more objective about how the heroes are, how good they are, etc. And I will still mention why, they might be better than some heroes just based off of obtainability. But if I think Jaden's a D, I'm not going to rank him a C because he's good at being obtained, just so you guys know. That being said, let's kind of hop right into this. Two more things. I wanted to say Top Commander is on right now, and I'm trying to get this video out before Top Commander ends. So hopefully I will have this out for you guys so you can kind of have a better understanding of how I think the heroes are ranked, and then maybe you guys can base some of your decision making off that. And yeah, I don't really make a script for any of these, by the way, because I want to be kind of as genuine as possible when kind of giving my thoughts on these heroes instead of pre-ranking them, just so you guys know. But let's hop right into it and do our thing. So first off is Bianca. I've always felt a little bit conflicted about Bianca because the thing is, you guys know, for example, I don't know if you guys know who Alex is, but Alex has always been the buffer since before Bianca came. And the thing is, I think that Bianca still is very good. I think she's still a good buffer hero, and some people might underestimate how good or how much impact a hero that buffs other squads stat percentages are. Let me tell you guys, these heroes are absolutely insane. My only qualm I would say I have about her would be her awakening skill, right? And the fact that I say that is just because the fact that pre-awaken she only buffs 3 squads instead of 5, you know what I mean, is one of the biggest downsides. And it's if you're grinding her slowly, it's kind of annoying. I've talked to some people who have stuff and they're ready to awaken either one or the other hero, right? And maybe for example, they're either able to awaken Peterson or they're either able to awaken Bianca. And if they don't awaken Bianca, they can maybe get 2 of her skills up or something. And the thing is, without her awakened, she's vastly worse, although not irrelevant or bad. But either way, I still think that she's a good hero. I think that given that you awaken her, she could be an insane hero, and being able to buff squads is an insane ability that has just a massive impact. Alright, and also we're only going to be doing legendary heroes. I already have one for epic heroes. I'm not doing one for blue or green heroes, just so you guys know, okay? Next, we're going to be talking about Maxine. Maxine's going F, okay? We're going to just drop her there right off the bat. Maxine is F. She's just a gather hero. She doesn't offer really anything outside of being a gather hero. Yeah, that's kind of my thought on it. I don't know who else I would rank F. I don't want to be too brutal with some of these heroes, but I guess we'll kind of see as we go through. So next, we're going to be doing Jaden. Let me find Jaden on my freaking, because I got my screen over here just so you guys know. Jaden, I don't like Jaden. Honestly, I think that Jaden's super outdated. He was only good when you lacked heroes, you know what I mean? Unless you're lacking heroes and you need heroes, and being that he's probably the easiest, or the cheapest, not the easiest, the cheapest to really awaken, right? He's the cheapest hero to awaken through memory trip and stuff. That makes him much better than maybe an average hero or just being completely bad in general. But just objectively, Jaden is not a good hero, you know what I mean? Even the fact alone that his skill damage is he has an attack tree, right? And that would make him more he would be more useful if you could put someone who has a skill tree or something leading him. But you're not even allowed to do that, because if you put him as a support hero, his skill damage gets reduced and dropped by half, which is absolutely insane, you know what I mean? It's crazy, and it just makes him not really worth kind of pumping up and stuff. I mean, overall, even his other skills aren't very useful. His stats right here kind of suck. I mean, they're not bad, but they're not good either. This skill is iffy. He also has a zombie skill. It just doesn't make Jaden very appealing, and overall he just deserves a D tier. And honestly, I'd even argue that at this point in the game, with the hero options you have, he would be an F. But I will still keep him D because he's relevant to an extent, just not he's not great. Next, we're gonna be talking about Hank. Okay, so Hank, I'm honestly, this will be a little bit controversial because people don't like Hank, but I'm going to put Hank as a C tier. And the only reason I'm putting him even a C tier is because I think Hank is at the very least, better than someone like Peter, right? He's at least better than Peter. And the thing is, Peter is also a siege hero, but Peter, I say this every single tier list video, Peter is not good at what he does, you know what I mean? He's kind of I feel like he's got that mix between siege and field, and it just makes him kind of wishy-washy, and he's just you know, he's not anything you want on a rally or nothing. Hank is kind of the same. I mean, at least Hank is good at one thing, although it's not good enough, right? Because at this point in the game, you have so many hero options that outshine him, right? Because I think maybe when you started, it might have been better if, you know, you didn't really have all these really insane heroes that excel at what they do. For example, if I wanted to run a range rally right now, I might run Julia and Lewis. I might run Chun and Julia. I might run whatever, right? But I will not run Julia and Hank. I won't run Chun and Hank. And people might be thinking, oh well, Panda, he has a rally squad capacity thing. So what? That rally squad capacity upgrade, it does not do him any good, and it's not going to make it any better. Like I've used this example a lot of time, or this annotation or whatever. It's like saying, would you rather use Stan with 200k troops, or would you rather use Peterson with 150,000? Obviously, you're going to use Peterson since he's just objectively better. His stats are better, his skills are better, etc. Having more troops in a rally doesn't always make that rally better. You know what I mean? Like, some cases that's true, but that has to be like objective. Whatever. You guys get my point, right? Like, I'm not going to keep pandering there. We're going to do Carrie. So I've always been very critical of Carrie, and I'm gonna be fair. Carrie is not actually like he's not great in my opinion. Like, I'm gonna be honest, he's not great in my opinion. Like, sometimes he can be good, and it really depends. And honestly, I would even argue he might deserve A, but I'm gonna put him B, and I'll tell you guys why. The thing is, I've always been very against Carrie, and the big reason is I think that he's just too niche, and he kind of reminds me of John, right? And John, I'll do him next. But Carrie is too niche, right? The only reason that he's any good is because you want to nerf Peterson's healing, is because you want to nerf Tom's healing. In the case of you rallying a tower, for example, what if you do nerf their healing, right? Even if you do nerf their healing, depending on how much pressure you're putting up, be it like multiple rallies, maybe that's going to be a good case to use them in, and you want to like reduce as much healing as possible, so like you know, the pressure is just up there. But besides stuff like that, you know, where maybe you're putting pressure on multiple rallies, or the only other exception might be rallying a base, or rallying Metro, or rallying a village or something where you got field control, right? Because obviously, if it's a tower, it's much different. Because if you are rallying a tower with Carrie, let's say that the tower that you're rallying still manages to keep that tower completely full. His skill, like his actual stat drop off and stuff that he like he doesn't really offer you. Someone like Julia might offer, right? Like, imagine you replace him for Julia or Lewis. The stat drop off that you're willing to drop off on is going to be significant, and the damage drop off due to that will still be significant. You know what I mean? And you have to that healing reduction actually has to be very impactful. So if that tower is able to completely stay topped off, and those people don't actually kind of just ignore the healing reduction, that carry usage feels kind of useless to me. But like I said, in the case of, you know, rallying maybe a metro or rallying a village, and you're able to keep field control to the point where they aren't able to reinforce properly, he is useful. And that's why I think that he's not bad, but he's just not good. He's too niche. He doesn't offer me a lot, and I don't like him a lot. And now that I've talked about niche, we're going to be talking about John. And I'm going to be a bit brutal. I'm going to, you know, I'll put him C. I'll put him C to be fair. I feel like he's not as bad as like Jaden or Peter. And I feel like he actually is kind of better than Hank in any case, but he is too niche. And the thing is, like, you can look at John. It's not even like he's a bad hero, right? Like, his skill damage is good. I mean, his skills are right, they're meh. But his skill damage is good and stuff. If like you really needed a hero, he would be he would be an option, but he's not optimal, right? It's like it's kind of like the current heroes being dropped, right? I kind of feel the same with the Riven and stuff, although like less so compared to him. But like they dropped Riven and stuff, and you have all these good heroes already, all these good infantry heroes, etc., who already are fine on the field, right? And you drop someone like this who doesn't really offer anything exceptional. That's kind of what John felt like when he dropped, and he still feels like, because you when they dropped him, you know, you had all these other heroes. You had Elena, you had Bella, you had him, right? You had all these other heroes, right? And he didn't offer anything insane. The best that you could really imagine him as is maybe being a counter rally hero. And it's like, if you're completely pumping up a hero specifically to use him as a counter rally, he just feels kind of useless, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'd get nearly the same results using someone like Elena or Bella, and it just feels like a waste of my relics and stuff to kind of pump up a hero like that specifically for that purpose. Okay, Next, we're gonna do another S tier. Okay, we're gonna do Victor. I felt so good about Victor, right? I've even replaced him with my Lee. Honestly, I've replaced him with my Lee because he's been a freaking damage dealing goat on the field. He's been pretty good at siege. I won't say he's like my obviously optimal siege hero. I have other heroes that I'd use over him, but he's still been good if I need to, maybe do swarms on bases, etc. And I use him as like a range hero or something, right? Overall, I found Victor to be very insane, and honestly, even garrisoning, I find him to be I would argue more useful than Lewis, because you got to understand Lewis isn't actually bad, and I guess like you can argue that Lewis has his uses in like specific situations. For example, if there's people standing outside a tower, throwing Lewis on would be useful, but then again that can also be a double-edged sword, because people take advantage of the fact that you can reduce his actual skill damage by walking around the tower and just having one troop to kind of soak up that damage, and then it makes his like actual impact way less compared to Victor, who's actually a single target hero. Plus, he buffs multiple troop types, right? He just buffs like specifically attack and HP, not like for specific troop types, and that makes him so much better to me because he's able to buff all these other troops that are hopping in the tower. And most of the time, let's be fair, when you're filling a tower and stuff, it's not only going to be infantry, it's not only going to be range, it's not only going to be riders, it's going to be all of the above, right? So obviously Victor kind of excels in these areas, and honestly I like him quite a bit. I've actually like really grown fond of Victor, and he's one of my favorite heroes right now. Honestly. um we'll talk about Lee. I feel I'm gonna put Lee as a B. I'm not like, the thing is, I'm actually like contemplating, like I was contemplating dropping him to C, but I'm gonna leave him as B because honestly he's not bad, and you gotta understand from the like, as a hero he's not bad. He's able to reduce attack, defense, HP, right, with just his skill drop. He's able to do AoE attacks, which is nice. His skill damage is just nothing insane. His skills overall are nothing insane. He's not bad, but he is still useful, right? He's still viable. I just wouldn't use him over some of the meta heroes right now. Like, if you have the chance to either invest into Lee or you have the chance to invest in a Jacob, I'd invest in Jacob. If you had the chance to invest in Lee or Victor, I'd invest in Victor. If you had the chance to invest in Lee or Miyamoto, I'd invest in Miyamoto, right? But as a hero, objectively, he's not bad. He's just like kind of been pushed aside for all these heroes that have kind of, I would say, pushed themselves into the spotlight to the point where they've become more so relevant. Okay, who we're gonna do next? Who are we gonna do next? We might do Jin. Okay, let me look at Jin. The thing is, people were arguing that he got buffed, and to answer that, I don't like. I don't like Jin. I don't like Jin. I'm like, honestly, I might even put him C, because the thing is, I don't think Jin's bad. Like, don't get me wrong. But I don't think I'm replacing him still for any of my current rally heroes. I'm not replacing him in my lineup, and I don't think that they buffed him to the point where he'd be useful there. The only buff they kind of really did was making him more useful on maybe the field, right? Like actually making his some of his skills, I think, they're not like siege specific anymore. They're just relative to like attack and defense. You could use it on the field, you could use it on siege. That's pretty nice. At least he's useful in the field now. But I even then, I wouldn't even use him in my field lineup with the current hero meta, right? Like, if you had a chance to invest in all these heroes, right? I already have 10 heroes that I could use over Jin. I don't see a reason for me to invest in Jin unless like I just wasn't able to awaken with some hero and I could just spend money on him instead. And even then, that just makes him much more much harder to obtain, because he costs so much. He costs so much through going through VIP levels, and then you actually have to buy him. And overall, I don't really care for Jin. I don't think he's some insane hero. I don't think he's bad. I just don't think he's there. I don't think he's meta. I don't think he's kind of worth it. Okay. Next, we'll do Peterson. People argue like how useful Peterson is for like the average player, and honestly, I think it's still there. I think it really depends on your bracketing. I think it depends what like group you're in. I think it depends. Just kind of it's relative to your brackets, right? It's relative to your region size. It's relative to your alliance size. It's relative to who you're fighting, right? But I think that overall Peterson is still an S tier hero. Not only is he still like meta on Garrison, and I think he's gonna remain that way for at least a while, just because he just offers so much compared to some of these other heroes. Like even for smaller players, like I don't think people understand how useful having someone like this is, be it for Dark Seal or something. And you can like, even if you're not able to get like 10 million kills in Dark Seal, right? You can obviously slowly milk kills through Dark Seal by using this. It can make your trades much better on your base. It can make you less swarmable. Let's say you're in a bracket where you're needed to throw your hero on something, even if you're not the strongest player. Let's say you're 70 million and your Garrison captains are normally 100 million. Even having Peterson on that Garrison at least makes it more anti-swarm, you know, compared to maybe if it wasn't. So overall, I think it's like helpful to the alliance. Not only that, it's just also helpful to your account. He's not like my optimal field fighter, right? But I do have him on the field because he's not terrible in the field. He's just not great either, right? He's not like some damage dealer. He's mostly just built to tank. And if I do have another hero that can replace him on the field, I would replace him, to be completely fair. But otherwise, I still think that this dude is just a boss, and I think he just offers too much to really be called, you know, to kind of throw him down a rank or anything. I think he's just still up there. He just holds his position pretty hard. Next, we'll talk about Lewis, man. I'm still gonna keep him in S tier. Okay, I still think that Lewis deserves his S class. Like his stats are still good. I don't think he's really been replaced as such an insane hero. He still has his AoE, and like still the fact that he can circular AoE once awakened is insane. He has good skill damage. Overall, I think Lewis is still just really good. I don't think like he's kind of gotten. I don't think he's gotten replaced by any heroes. Sorry if you guys hear me like thumping around. I don't think he's gotten replaced by any heroes. I don't think he's been pushed out of his position or anything of the sort. Next, we're gonna be talking about. We'll do Tom. I put Tom A. Honestly, this one's a little bit harder because Tom, he's not insane. I think like he's kind of just been put in the backseat or been put on the bench because you know you have other heroes like, you know, Peterson or something who's just like an upgrade on Tom. Tom, you know, he's not like the greatest field hero either. He's not like a damage dealer. You know, he's kind of one of those backup heroes that you might use. I don't think he's bad. And if you can't get someone like Peterson or something, he still works, right? He still works on defense. He still works on your wall, etc. He's not like some insane hero, but he's not bad either. He's not really been pushed into like complete obscurity, right? Like honestly, he could be put between like either high B class, like BB plus, right, or it would just be A class, right, just there. Eddie, I'm gonna put Eddie A. Like if I could like have a double A, right? Like if I could have a double A class plus, I would probably put him there because the only reason I'm putting him A is because I would argue that he's worse than someone like a Dut, and that just makes him less appealing to get in comparison, right? And that would make him kind of less relevant as a result. I still think that Eddie's an insane hero. Like the fact that he's so good on even on the field, he's a really good field hero. He's got really good damage in general, and I think that he's just super useful. And obviously, not everybody's going to use him for this case because you know you're probably only going to be leaving this up to your rally heroes and rally captains and stuff, but he is still really useful as a rally hero, right? I can easily use him as a rally hero and feel like he's offering me a lot as long as I'm making him infantry specific, since he does have, infantry specific kind of skills when leading only infantry squads. Increased counter damage up to 44%. He just has a lot of good infantry skills. He has a lot of good infantry stats. I wouldn't use him as garrison or anything. I wouldn't use him on that, but overall, he's a good field hero damage-wise. He's a good rally hero. I think objectively, he's just a really good hero. And, I don't really have much to say there. I don't think you can really put that hero down. Considering the fact that a lot of rallies and stuff get swarmed or a lot of rallies get hit and stuff, that counter damage makes him that much better to me. It makes him that much more appealing to me. So overall, I think he's just overall a really good hero. A Dut, we're going to put an S tier, okay? I've always felt highly of a Dut. Her stats are just through the roof. Her skill damage is just really good. I don't think there's really much for me to say about her. She's just overall a really good hero. And there's not really, just in general, she's a really good hero, right? Is there really anything I got to say there? She's just a really good hero. And I love a Dut, man. A Dut's going to stay S class for a while, all right? And now we're going to do Elena. You know what, I'll do Elena after I do Bella and stuff. Bella, I'm gonna put S tier simply because I think that, in my opinion, I like the thing is I think that there's a lot of rider heroes that are kind of close. Like you have Elena, you have him, right? And you even have Kath, who I would say is actually below. I don't know. I would say she's not as good as Bella, but I would say that Elena is still relevant and stuff. I think that Bella is arguably, in my opinion, my favorite hero as a rider. My favorite rider hero, maybe the best rider hero in my opinion. I think that the other heroes are honestly equally as, what is it, like, comparable to her. So that's why like I always feel conflicted when doing tier lists with these heroes, because I think honestly both these heroes right here, for example, are extremely good. And even Kath, right? Like Kath is still a really good damage dealer. She's really got pretty decent stats and stuff, but she honestly isn't as good as these guys to me. The thing is, she's probably the easiest hero to awaken. Um, since it costs $300 and stuff to awaken her, she's probably the easiest, or actually not the easiest, I would say the cheapest hero to awaken, right? So in general, I don't think that Kath's kind of lost her place. I think all four of these heroes kind of are just over on that scale of being really good, but not to the point where they're kind of overshadowing each other. And it might be a little bit much for me to put all of these guys in A class, and I'll put Kath in B class simply for that, because I honestly prefer Bella, him, Elena, then Kath, right? And it's kind of that order for me, if I had the choice to really choose. But either way, I think any of these heroes would really be a good choice if you really want to pick anything. And I mean, yeah, that's up to you. Martin, poor Martin, dude. I'm gonna put Martin in C, okay? Because Martin, he's not even bad. The thing is, there's just so many better relevant heroes now that Martin doesn't really have such an amazing place, right? He's just a healer, and that's all he does. He's just a healer, and that's really all he's good for, healing, right? And you have heroes that are good at both healing and being offensive, both healing and having good, stats for their certain troop type or whatever, like Peterson or Tom or something. I mean, he's just good at healing, right? But he's not like, I wouldn't say he's. I feel kind of bad putting him over like Jaden or something, but I feel like at least he offers something compared to Jaden, who's just a hero who's supposed to be useful, but isn't useful at anything that he's supposed to do. I don't know, man. I'm gonna keep him in C class. I'm gonna keep him over Jaden though. Um, we'll do Cynthia. I'll put Cynthia on C because the thing is, Cynthia, she's not even great. Like, and I think you can pump her up by spending, but you honestly you wouldn't pump her up, right? Because there's just so many better options now. Like you could just invest in Bella and any of these other, like, any of these four heroes right here, and you don't have a reason about invest in Cynthia over them. I mean, unless you're just doing it simply to pair her with Catherine, and even then, it's like you could pair Bella and Catherine and get way better results than you would with like Cynthia and stuff. The only reason Cynthia I would consider really any good is the fact that she's a speedster and people can use her as like a node knocker and stuff, and she's really good at that in itself. But overall, I don't think that she really offers anything. If I'm doing field fights and stuff, I would rather not have Cynthia on my lineup. That's just kind of my personal opinion there. I don't find her to be very useful in that regard. Next, we're going to leave the new heroes for last. Ragro. We're going to talk about Ragro. Ragoro. Am I saying that right? Ragro. I'm going to put him B because the thing is, I still think that Ragro or Ragoro, I still think that he's a good hero. I just don't think that he's relevant with the current meta. Like, I don't think I'd use him if and the only case that I would use him is if I needed like 4 infantry squads or maybe even 3 infantry squads, right? That's the only case. And right now I just don't see him as being very useful. He's not a bad hero either though, because he's not bad, right? But he's just not good. He's not great. He's not offering something that these like new heroes, these new better heroes offer. I mean, you can use them as a backup hero on a tower or on garrisoning, or if you're getting swarmed, not that bad. But overall, he just isn't something that excels anywhere. I don't know. He just doesn't offer me anything that makes me really tingle. Next is Julia, and you know what? I'm gonna put Julia as an S class too, because I think that Julia offers just a lot. I think she's It's a hard say because I don't want to say she's the best range hero because honestly I still feel for Lewis. But honestly, if I'm running a rally, I probably pick Julia over Lewis. Like that's my honest opinion. I think Julia is objectively just an insane like DPS hero, and using her, she's just great. She's just a great hero. And if I had the choice of using her or Lewis in a rally, I would use Julia. Right? That's kind of how I feel there. I think her skills are just insane. I think she just puts up some insane numbers and insane damage. That's kind of how I feel there. Next up, let's do Jacob. Jacob, I feel kind of conflicted. I'm gonna put him A because the thing here is Jacob can be used as a garrison hero and an offensive hero. He's just not my first choice. I'm not sure if I'd use him over Chun. I'd probably use him on the field over Chun. He's also good at garrisoning. So honestly, if I had the choice between Chun and Jacob right now, I would probably pump up Jacob, given that I might be able to use Lewis on rallies. The only downside to that is maybe people taking advantage of my AoE and trying to milk it. But even then, it's like I don't know, man. I think Jacob just offers a pretty good amount. I will say, like I mentioned recently, apparently I was told by an admin that it was that his fourth skill wasn't actually nerfed, but they had missed. I guess it was typed out wrong or like the information was put in wrong. The only thing that sucks is like that skill is actually way less appealing than it previously was. But honestly, I don't really know. Like I think between him and Julia, it kind of depends on your playstyle. It depends what you're gonna do. I think his AOE and stuff does make him a little bit more appealing for me on the field, and that would be the only reason that I'd kind of maybe invest in him over Chun or something. Because right now I still use Chun and Julia like for rallies and stuff. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of conflicted there. But overall, he's still a good hero. Like he's just a good hero. I just don't think he's like anything insane that would make me throw aside one of my other heroes that I currently have. I guess we talked about Chun. I'll also put Chun in an A class because I think that Chun still is good. I think the only thing that makes her as bad as I would like, I would argue that makes her bad is the fact that her rage required is 200 more than the average hero. It requires her 1.2k rage, and people are going to argue this, so I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on this. She has a skill that is able to, I guess, like it's able to restore rage, so it's able to quote unquote kind of make that void. But the thing for me is, why make a skill that fixes a problem that was made by the hero, right? It's kind of making that skill in itself useless, right? And then it makes like any other skills on other heroes, right? Because for example, if I have a rage skill on Chun that kind of makes her little 1.2k rage null and makes it back to 1k rage, what if I have a hero like Lewis who actually has a skill that's useful for him instead of just making his skill kind of reduce her uselessness. And the thing is, you can't make her a support hero because of this 1.2k rage, because if you make her a support hero, her skill damage gets dropped in half, kind of like Jaden, and it's just like a meh for me. It just makes me feel mid about her. And like overall, I still use her as a rally hero and stuff. It just makes me it's just one of those turn-offs about her. That's the only thing that kind of turns me down when I consider how useful she is. Next, we're gonna do Maya. Maya, I'm gonna put her C. Okay, I know I'm doing a lot of C heroes. I don't really have many D heroes here. Maya, she's not bad. She's just not good anymore. Like I think I've said this a lot about a lot of heroes. She's just kind of the same as Roro, right? You just get pushed out of meta. You're not as useful anymore, right? She's just kind of squishy now. She's just not very useful, and she's just there. Like I feel like with all the current range heroes, you have no reason to actually get her. So I'm actually gonna put her D. I don't think she's bad. I just don't think she's good. That's kind of how I feel there. Next is Riven, or what we'll do Robert first. And then we'll kind of go through the new infantry heroes. We don't really have a full understanding of them as they are new, obviously, but I'll kind of get my thoughts on like my understanding of them as of now. So for Robert, I'm honestly a little biased. I don't like Robert that much. I'll put him B, and I'll put him over Roro at the very least because I think like he's probably more useful than someone like Roro, But Robert, I just don't think that he offers anything or he excels to the point where I feel very inclined to invest in him unless, like I said, I needed a third squad, right? If I needed a third infantry squad, I would use him. And the thing is, I actually have him pumped up on one of my accounts, and he's not bad. He's just not crazy great, right? Like, I have other heroes that I'm more inclined to invest in, like a Dut or a Eddie. And the thing is, you also got to understand, I've already invested in heroes like Peterson or Tom. So if I put something on a lineup, I'm gonna put Peterson or Tom, right? I have no reason to completely wait and invest all my relics into someone like Robert, who maybe is better than them on the field, but it doesn't feel like he offers a whole lot more over that, you know what I mean? And it makes me feel like I'm maybe wasting my time there, and I can maybe wait for new heroes, and that will kind of put me into the next heroes here. So, talking about Moto, a lot of people have been like, they've been like, I'm gonna put him A, okay, because a lot of people are kind of conflicted about this. I personally don't think Miyamoto's bad. He's probably going to be better than obviously Peterson or Tom or any of those heroes on the field. I would argue that damage-wise, I still feel like Eddie is either going to be comparable or as good as him. The only difference will be maybe AoE, which is area of effect damage, right? And that'll be like maybe what makes him a little bit better than Eddie on the field, and that's the only reason I'd use him over Eddie on the field. But just generally, I think that Eddie's a better hero. I think that Adut's a better hero. I think that they got more use for me all the way around the book, right? And that just makes him less useful for me. He's obviously a quick hero, and that's gonna make him a little bit more useful on like the field and stuff. And overall, his skills are pretty decent. I just don't think that he's offering something that's gonna change the whole game scheme of things, right? Unless you're just using him and a Dut to maybe node knock people. That's like kind of the only I just don't see him being like crazy, right? Like obviously in big field fights maybe useful, maybe more useful than Eddie or something, but objectively as a hero I just don't see him being better. Last off, we're going to talk about Riven, okay? Riven, I'm going to actually put her B, and I'm going to put her around the top of B because the thing is, I don't think she's going to be useful in the field. Maybe if you were to like say that she's better than, some of these other heroes at dealing damage, etc., she might be more useful in that regard, but I don't think that she's going to be just very useful. I think that she doesn't offer me a whole lot for what I'd have to invest in her to kind of reap the rewards. And she does seem more garrison leaning, and kind of considering the garrison heroes that we have right now, like I would invest in Victor over her, right, as a garrison hero. I would invest in Peterson over her as a garrison hero. I mean, like there are you can have a take about maybe she would be better at putting out damage than Peterson. Yeah, on garrison, but in a lot of cases, people aren't able to always keep their garrison full. Peterson is kind of necessary for a lot of, just swarms, etc. So Peterson overall as a hero just offers more than like Riven would. So I don't think that Riven's bad. I just don't think she offers enough for me to kind of go out of my way and invest in her, unless I just have excess relics, you know what I mean? But that is about it to the video. I do appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy, and you guys give me your thoughts. You guys tell me if you thought any of my my takes here were wrong. And yeah, I do appreciate you guys as always for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next video. And that is it. Peace out.